Hey, I'm Jackie, an organizing consultant, and I believe that organization is good for the soul. This is the first video in my series called Soulful Sit-Downs. And Soulful Sit-Downs is where I engage in deep dive conversations with other professional organizers, entrepreneurs, and just individuals around certain topics. But at the center, we are always talking about organization. In this video, I had the opportunity to really have a deep dive discussion with Free from the Feel Free Club. She's based in Atlanta, Georgia, so be sure to check her out. She is amazing. Love her. In this video, we are discussing the alignment between organization and how it has healing properties. Be sure to check out the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought and what are some other topics that you would like for me to sit down and have an engaging conversation around. Enjoy the video.
All right. Welcome. I am really excited to have this conversation today with Free of the Free Phil Club. I'm sorry, I'm reading your Zoom backwards, and I should know this. Phil Free Club. That is my bad.
Yes.
So sorry. Zoom is up
It
here messing me
happens.
up. Hi,
Thank
Free.
you for having me. I am so happy to be here with you today to talk about how organizing helps with healing and staying on top of that healing journey that we are all on. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to talk more about it with you.
Thank you. So, for those of you who are watching the replay, you might see me looking down or to the side. That's because I have my notes on my phone and I don't want to miss anything. But I just wanted to briefly describe what this concept is. So, I'm Jakia. I'm the creator and founder of SoleOrganizer. And this concept, Soulful Sit Downs, was an idea that I thought of a year ago. I was just sharing with Free that I was looking through a notebook of mine where I was writing down different ideas that I wanted to execute. And this was one of them. And she was also listed as the person that I wanted to talk with first. But I wanted to have more of these deep dive. I'm going to say that deep dive conversations centered around organization. We are both prominent organizers. We have different methods, but our end goal is the same, right? We want our clients to feel safe and feel at peace within their space. And with organizing really becoming popular within the mainstream, a lot of times what we can see on social media is maybe someone restocking their refrigerator, right? Or doing a haul, but it's really deeper than that. And so today, like Free mentioned, we really want to just discuss organization and healing and how they're in alignment and they go hand in hand. It is healing for me. I know when my space is in a disarray, it can throw me off. I think Free can probably share my sentiments. So we're just going to have a candid conversation. And let's get to it. All right. So the
Yes.
first question that I have for you, Free, is what does healing look like to you? Your own perspective, your own opinion, because it can mean many things.
Yeah. What healing looks like for me is um it looks like having time to feel my feelings, having time to rest, time to journal, time to cry,
Mm.
time to um, self reflect, be in nature. It looks like having time for myself,
Right.
really. And that looks like, I may do it many of ways, but it's time to give to myself to allow myself to heal.
I love that. And you're sitting in nature right now with the beautiful
Yes.
trees as your background. And I need to do more
Love
of
them
that
so much.
myself. Yes, more grounding. So you described what healing looks like to you. How does being organized or organization support your own personal healing?
Yeah. So the thing about organization is that it gives me back time. The more
Yes.
organized I am, the more time I have for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, having my clothes, knowing what I'm going to wear the next day, means I get to spend an extra amount of time meditating or an extra amount of time sleeping because I already have my clothes picked out.
Mm-hmm.
I already have what I know is available to me where it is. Um, Being organized allows me to do that, and without organization, I'm those things that are really necessary for healing, like rest, water, meditation,
Absolutely.
time outside, doesn't get put on the back burner because I've got to go. So I've got to go do this. I got to go do that. All my responsibilities will become the top priority, and then me will be left
Mm-hmm.
as not a priority. So organization prioritizes me.
I love
What
that.
about what about you?
No, I just love how you said, like, you describe what healing looks like for you and then how being organized supports that. And it's like you said, you gain back extra time. Like, I know we all have, they say we have 24 hours in a day, which technically isn't true because we're not up for 24 hours, right? We're sleep for
Okay.
about 6 to 8 hours. So then you take that away, that's
Yep.
really not 24 hours. So you really have to be intentional about how you utilize your time. For me, I really crave simplicity. So healing for me just means that um, I need to find simplistic things that don't overstimulate my nervous system, right? I healing for me looks like stillness and learning to embrace that. I'm on a different journey than what I was on this time last year. And so even though I just said healing looks like stillness, it's something that I have to get used to because I've been constantly on the go, right? But how being organized supports that is I don't like being overstimulated, like I just mentioned, but being organized, I'm allowed to have everything in its place, right? Like I don't have to second guess about where my socks are, um, where my pots and pans are, where my organizing items for my business, is located. I already have a very high nervous system, right? I don't need anything to agitate it. So you still there? Uh-oh. Hold on 1 second. Okay. You good?
Yeah, I don't know what
Okay.
happened. It knocked me out and knocked me back in.
Okay. You're still here. All good. We're gonna keep it moving. So I was just saying
Okay.
that I feel like I have a highly regulated nervous system, and being organized allows me to level that out, bring it down, or manage it better. and
Mm,
and that is because
yes.
I don't have to look all over the place for my things. Actually, I get quite agitated if I have to look for something, right? Like it should be
Yes.
exactly where I put it. And so that is healing for me. That is how organization supports my healing.
Yeah. And I love that because I do think there are certain kind of people who are dysregulated by disorganization. Everybody, organization can support everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but for those who like need it, like it's a physical thing. Like you
Yes.
can't even really move or think about the next thing because there's so much coming at you from the outside, but it's happening inside.
Mm-hmm.
So I find stillness really important for me too, and like just creating that environment that is predictable and not overstimulating so my
Yes.
body can just be calm enough to heal, because our
Yes.
body will take care of itself naturally when we allow it. But a lot of the times, if I'm not allowing myself the space and the time to just feel and my body to go through its motions, it's a disaster. I'm stressed.
Right. Right. And if you're constantly searching for your items in your space, right, and you're constantly on the go, how do you have time to kind of unwind and decompress? And even if you are decompressing, if you're in a space that doesn't support that, right? And I'm not shaming
Right.
anyone, because I've seen on social media where some people have said normalize, regular homes where like things aren't going to be put away. And that's fine to,
Oh,
yeah, I've seen that, right? And they'll pan the camera around, and they'll show that, they'll have dishes in the sink, things on the counter.
yeah.
And that's fine. And that happens to me too from time to time, right? But I quickly get
Absolutely.
into
That happens to
action.
me all the time.
Right.
And I don't know why people don't think those who are organizing professionals don't have a messy home. That's not the case at all. I mean, every Friday I come home and I drop everything on the floor. I don't care where it goes. Everything's just on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually it's like the Saturday morning, I put everything back. And that's kind of like my, I'm leaning into the weekend, right?
Right.
I'm washing clothes, I'm folding clothes, I'm doing dishes, I'm da 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 da. So it's that practice that really is key. Homes are going to be messy for anybody, right?
Right.
But if you don't have a practice in place to get your home to a space that feels good to you, then that's where it causes long-term harm.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you love about organization? Like I love organization. Like I can talk about it all
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
Hence why
yeah.
we are here today. But I love to hear, what it is that you love about organization.
Okay. First things first, I love I love to see space.
Mm,
I love it. I love wall and carpets and or just floor and clear counters and just letting the sun hit the wood
mm-hmm.
and seeing my plants light up. Like, I love space. So when I am organized, when I'm helping people get organized, I really focus on giving them more space.
So open
Less
space.
open space, hiding those things, putting only the essentials up top. And the essentials are very little. A lot of people use their countertops and surfaces to house everything.
Yeah.
Put things in a corner, put things on top of a thing, and top of that, and put things on top of. I don't like you. I like space. Okay. In that way, and partly is because I'm a little clumsy. I run into things,
Yeah.
things don't knock over when there's nothing on there. I have a son. When he's playing with something, I don't have to be like, oh, don't, da, da, da. But they're gonna make mistakes, and there's a lot less catastrophe. So I love space. And then my second thing is I love um, colors. I love blending certain colors together
Okay.
because colors give off a vibration. And I can't stand a multicolored hangers in a closet. When you got the pink and the blue and the beige and the white and the black and the wire
That's
and
your
don't
pet
get into
peeve?
the store bought. That's my pet peeve. And the store bought hangers that still got the little the size on it.
I'm very matchy
Okay?
matchy too.
I can't take it. My rule is 1, 2 colors top. If you got a bunch, we're gonna break it down to 2 colors because that is just less stimulating on the eye
Yeah.
and less stimulating for my nervous system. It feels so good when colors are with
Mm-hmm.
their pairs and their partners.
See, and that's why these conversations are important, because I would have never thought about that. I think I'm okay with maybe two colored hangers being in the closet, right? And alternating between them. But it's good to hear different perspectives and the reason behind it. That's the thing. Like, you aren't doing it just because you have a validated reason as to why that method, isn't conducive.
Yeah. People would be surprised. Those people who are, we're all on this spectrum of ADHD, ADD, neurodivergent, all this stuff. And things that are very stimulating can be could just mess you up. The less
Yeah.
stimulation that you have, at least in your space where you can be calm, because you can't control the world, and the world is very
Right.
overactive. So this is what talks about the healing. Your space is your place to heal.
Absolutely.
Coming home after a long day out in the world dealing with everything and everyone, your home can at least be that safe haven to decompress, relax, and you can make it as curated as you want it. If you don't like a bunch of colors, if you don't like a bunch of clutter, you
Right.
don't like to spend a lot of time taking care of your home, you have agency in having less, doing things the way you want it to be done, but it does take some intention. It
And
is
you
possible.
actually, and that's my response, is what I love about organization is being in control. There's a Instagram
Yeah.
audio I recently used for one of my reels, and it was just like, they said the same thing. You can't control external factors outside of your home, right? But you can be intentional about how you set up your space so that it's functional and conducive for your lifestyle. I cannot thrive in dysfunction. I will shut down. I will become irritable. And
Yeah.
you mentioned something about the spectrum of being neurodivergent and ADHD. And I've actually been delving into that a lot more. And I'm like, this describes me.
Sound like me. Yeah, it
This
sure does.
describes me a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very particular, and I won't feel shamed about it because it helps me, right? It
Yeah.
allows me to be free. It allows me to create. That's the thing. It allows me to have time to do things like this. If I was not organized, or if my space wasn't organized, I would not be able to come up with concepts like this one. So for me, it supports my healing in that aspect, right? I'm allowed to be in control, but I'm also allowed to just kind of flow, right? I don't like stagnant energy. And if a space is just flooded with things that have nowhere to go, that energy gets trapped, and it can affect you. So yeah. Ooh,
It's
I
so
love that.
it's so funny you bring that up. Like, you would people who have been in my home before, it'd be two things. People actually like really love it, or some people like are nervous because they're scared to move anything, right? And I'm like, it's everyone's different, but you would think that someone who is super organized is rigid, but honestly, if when we're rigid with our space, we can be so much more flexible with our relationship and with our relationship with ourselves. That's what I find, that I am just way more easygoing, open-minded,
Yep.
creative, free-flowing when my space is organized. So that may be the rigid part, but it's allowing me, it's like a pendulum, I'm rigid on this
Exactly.
aspect, so I can have some flexibility over here.
Exactly. I'm trying to see how. Okay, you kind of touched on this. My last question is, what elements of organization do you promote? And I say you kind of touched on this because you shared what your pet peeve was as it relates to
Yeah.
the to the multicolored, hangers in the closet.
Yeah.
But what is like free signature thing when it comes to organization that your clients remember you for? Like, Free has left her mark.
Yeah, yeah. Um, my clients always hitting me up about letting it go. Like they know that they really need to think through the process
Mm-hmm.
of, is this really valuable to my life? Not, does this work? Will I need it in the future? All that other stuff. No, is this valuable to your current life? Because my thing is that we only live in the now. And I know
Right.
that everybody doesn't really understand that. Like people prepare for the future, and people, you know, bring their past into their present. I really focus on like, this is you today. Accept your body today, accept your job today, accept your hobbies today, and let's figure out what is tied to supporting those activities, those tasks, because that's supporting you, and whoever you can be today will get you to who you're going to be tomorrow. But the
Exactly.
stuff has to support today. So if it's not supporting, it's out of here. It's out of here. So yes,
It's gone.
let things go that are not valuable to your current self. If you bring something in, that means it's time for something to go out.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get it, right? Because I'm an
Yeah.
organizer. What what would be your response to people's rebuttal when they may feel as though you're just coming in to throw things away? But I guess you kind of answered it already because you said we're living in the now. So I already answered my own
Yeah, I
question.
mean, to 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 even clarify that, because yeah, that's the question about, are we just throwing things away, the money that I've spent?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my answer to that is always, are we living for today, or are we living for the past? You know, you brought me in here today. You're looking at this video today
Mm-hmm.
because something isn't working. The organization, the disorganization is not working. And the
Yeah.
reason why it's not working because it's not supporting today. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's supporting old beliefs, you know, supporting social constructs, supporting, you know, your past self
Mm-hmm.
from your childhood, whatever. Those things are in your life today, because organization is a you know, there's a process to that, but a lot of it is that you have more than what you need, bottom
Yeah.
line. And if you had just what you need, you wouldn't be like this.
Right.
So yeah, focusing on like um the today,
Yeah.
and not worried about tomorrow, because if you don't need it today,
Right.
it's less likely you're gonna need it.
Right. And if you haven't used it now or taken advantage of it, that's another key indicator that it's time to let it go. And letting go in itself as it relates to organization is healing, right? Because a lot of things weigh us down. And I myself can say, you know, when I tidy up my space, I immediately feel lighter. When I work with clients and, you know, those are words that they say to me, I just feel lighter. That right there just shows the magnitude and the huge benefit of organization and just how it can support someone's healing.
Yeah, I mean, and think about it. We're energetic beings. If
Mm-hmm.
everything is like, imagine, you can't see it, but if there was a force that's always constantly up against you, you
Yeah.
know, that would take a toll on you, you know, feeling wise. So when you have less, there's less things bouncing up off of you. There's less thought, there's less just energy, period. So the lightness is, it's a real thing. It's coming
Mm-hmm.
from a real place.
Mm-hmm. I you know, I know everyone is not into energy or just like astrology, you know, and stuff like that, but I wanted to share a conversation that I had with someone yesterday. They are energy healer. So
Yeah.
people are familiar with, and I hope I'm saying it correctly. I've benefited from this practice many times, Reiki healing and just kind of clearing out your chakras and stuff like that. So anyways, that is what she is. And we were talking, and her and I are going to do a soulful sit down at some point.
Yes.
Because there's similarities there too. But she talked about, she was like, yeah, the good spirits and the abundance, they don't come up in the house if it's not clean. They like, I can't thrive here.
Right.
And I was like,
Cleanliness
I know
is
this.
next to godliness for a reason.
Mhm. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, you're absolutely right. And, I've seen videos on social media. We're just like, you're trying to call in this abundance of money and flow.
Yeah.
Again, that energy, it can't break through. It needs something to flow through. It's going to get stuck. So,
Yeah.
if you are watching this, just understand what we are trying to convey is that being organized supports your healing. It opens the energy fields up. It makes you feel lighter. It lessens your load. It can, regulate your nervous system in a positive way. This is not to shame anyone, but it's to just get you to thinking on a deeper level about organization, and it goes further beyond the pretty bins and what products are out there, which we like to use too, right? But we want to really get to the core and the foundation of organization. And if you're watching this back, you're probably seeing and hearing Free and I say the same things, but we're just coming from two different perspectives.
Yeah, it's really like this work. It highlights growing, evolving as a human. We aren't meant to stay the same.
Yeah.
We're not, change is the only constant. And what I find is that people who don't want to let go or struggle with organization, um, it's difficult for them to transition to another phase of their life. And letting go of certain things, being aware of what you have allows you to revisit the choices you've made and the
Yeah.
choices you're making. That is very healing for um, for growing and becoming something different.
Yeah.
Like we're not here to just be the same version of ourselves. Organization will support in that transition, so it doesn't always feel great initially,
Right.
but you see the benefits from it once you've gone through the process. If you believe something, you've been honest with yourself about, I'm not using that, I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
Confirming who you are and what you value. That's very healing to your identity.
Yeah. And letting go also shows you what isn't working and what you don't like. So even when you're out in those stores, right, to steer clear of whatever that piece or item may be. That no longer works for you. And as you said, it no longer supports the person that you are transitioning into. An organization supports that because it shows you, okay, it's time to remove this item from my space. It's time to change things up. I know by getting organized and decluttering and editing my space, this no longer works for me. So I know I need to try something else.
Yes. What kind of what's one tip that you would leave with somebody who was like ready to start getting organized and let it support their healing?
Oh, that is a good one. I think, and this is also a message to myself because I'm evolving, but it's give yourself grace and pace yourself, right? I feel like organization is one of the things where you can probably see immediate results, right? I can go to one of my kitchen drawers right now, set a timer for 20 minutes, declutter, edit it, and see an immediate result, right?
Yeah.
So, but could it be overwhelming or intimidating for someone just starting out? Absolutely. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. It's labor intensive. It's emotionally intensive. Um,
Mentally draining.
Yes, mentally draining, right? But the reward is so worth it, right? So I would say give yourself grace, pace yourself, and know that you can do it. Shoot, there's times I be in here like, I don't want to do this, right? But like you said, we have that innate practice within us, and we're just like, we're going to get it done. And once it's done, you feel so much better. So I appreciate you posing that question. I think that would be my response to someone.
That's really good because I don't know about you, but people want those transformations and they want it today. And I'm like,
Hello?
Dave, it took you like 2 decades, 3 decades to get here. Like, let's, you can wait 48 hours, you know what I'm saying? You can wait 2 weeks or a month because it is a lot. It's not just, it's a lot. And even when you are getting help, it's a lot emotionally, mentally, financially. It's an investment. So you're pacing yourself is key. And I would follow people like you. What's your Instagram again? Say it, Soulful.
SoleOrganizer, SOLE, and then the word organizer.
SoleOrganizer. I will follow SoleOrganizer. I will follow me at the Feel Free Club. And because we share a lot of stuff that you can do on a regular basis that will help you build this organization muscle. We're not just showing the befores and afters. There's a lot of organizers out here that kind of just show you the before and the end result. And then you start feeling bad about yourself because you're like,
oh, good point.
This is not what's happening to me.
Yes.
We really take our time to share more. So I think that's really important because people are delusional right now about.
Hold on, we lost. Okay. You're back.
Anyway, yes. Follow us.
I think that's a good ending note. And I think I want to circle back to just like our initial conversation when I reached out to you and was like, would you be willing to sit down and have this conversation with me? But we are healers in our own right. Organizers are. And this is why I wanted this sit down to be focused around healing. Because as you mentioned, and that's fine that other organizers show, mainly just before and afters. I have done that as well. But like you said, I have noticed that you go in depth as well as to why you're doing what you're doing. And again, that's the purpose of these deep dive conversations. And I'm glad that you pointed that out for people who are going to watch this, because my process is a long one as well. Sometimes I work with clients for like a whole month. We take our time. Even myself, I'm not going to feel rushed. I organize within 4-hour increments because, like I just mentioned, it is labor intensive. It is physically draining, mentally draining, but it's rewarding. And like you said, this is 10 plus years of things that we are sorting through, and we're guiding you through the process, right? So yes, it's an investment, but it's going to be a huge investment for you as the client, if or when you decide to reach out to either one of us.
It pays you back immediately. You start feeling the benefits that day, and every single day after that. So it can be a, you know, a time investment, a financial investment initially, but it starts to pay off over and over and over again, and it doesn't stop.
It doesn't. Well, Free, I thank you again. I want to be conscious of time, but can you tell those that are watching where they can find you, like on social media, your website, and if you have any special offers that you're currently running at this moment that they need to check out?
Yes. Again, it's been a pleasure. I'm Free, space designer of Feel Free Club Organizing. You can find me on Instagram at the Feel Free Club. I'm on TikTok at Feel Free Baby with like 4 Y's. And what I want to share with you guys is I have a virtual membership, online membership where you can dive in to inner organization and outer organization videos. And I'm doing a camp, a Let It Go camp for June and July,
I
where
love that.
once a week, we will be sitting down, practicing the ritual of releasing. We'll be doing some movement art, doing some mantras, and doing some decluttering. So if you want to engage in letting go and decluttering your space for the next 2 months, and with me as your guide, go to feelfreeclub.com and register, or shoot me a message at the Feel Free Club on Instagram. Thank you
Awesome.
for having me here. This has been amazing.
Good. I'm so glad. Thank you. You know, we could talk about this more. And you know, this doesn't have to be one and
Yes.
done. We can, you know, find
Yeah.
some other topics to discuss. Let us know in the comment section, you know, which topics you would like for Free and I to you know, discuss, because we love to chat. So we're here.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thank you. And until next time, we'll see you. Bye.
Bye bye.